I will recount my experience. It is up to each person's judgment to believe it or not. I'm a fifth-wheel truck operator, or trailer driver as they call it. One week, due to the demands of my bosses, I had to make 3 trips. The first was from Fairview to Ridgemont, the second from Fairview to Silver Lake, and the third from Fairview to Greystone. When I was returning from the third trip, fatigue was beginning to take over. My arms felt like lead, my legs heavy, and my vision blurry. I knew I was close to dozing off behind the wheel, so I decided to stop for coffee at a small roadside town called Black Hollow. It was around 2:45 a.m. I pulled over at an old gas station, left the engine running, and decided to close my eyes for just a moment. When I woke up, the clock on the dashboard read 3:40 a.m. The air had turned ice cold, far different from the humid warmth I had felt before drifting off. I shook off the discomfort and stepped out of the truck, the silence of the night pressing in around me. Across the street stood an old convenience store, dimly lit. I crossed over, grabbed a coffee and a soda for the road, and stepped outside. That's when I noticed something strange. The gas station where I had parked was completely dark, abandoned. No cars, no trucks, not a single soul in sight. I hurried back to my truck, but as I climbed in, my stomach twisted into a knot. The passenger door was wide open. I had locked it. I was sure of it. Flicking on the cabin light, I braced myself for the worst. Had someone tried to rob me? My wallet and phone still sat untouched on the dashboard. The unease in my chest grew heavier. Gripping my flashlight, I stepped back out and circled the truck, checking the tires. Anything to distract myself. The door must have been a mistake, I told myself that over and over. Then I heard it, a faint whisper. Right behind me, my heart slammed against my ribs. But when I turned, no one was there. Just the cold wind whipping through the empty lot. Shaking off the nerves, I climbed back into the truck and slammed the door shut. I didn't even touch my coffee. I just wanted to leave. That's when I felt it. A presence. It was in the seat beside me. I didn't need to look, I could feel the weight, the shift in the air, the unnatural chill spreading through the cab. My hands trembled against the wheel as whispers curled through the silence. Low, rasping murmurs like breath against my ear. The lights outside flickered. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the ground. Then, in my side mirror, a flash of white. Instinctively, I flipped on my high beams, expecting to see another car. But when I looked, there was nothing. Nothing but empty road. Swallowing hard, I forced myself to focus. I wiped my face, checked my mirrors again, and went through the motions of securing the truck, anything to stay grounded. As I locked the last latch, a voice startled me. "Son, can you take me to Asheville?" I nearly jumped out of my skin. An old man stood by my door, dressed in tattered clothes. His eyes held an eerie glint, but something in his expression made me hesitate before saying no. Against my better judgment, I nodded. The drive was silent at first. Then, the old man spoke, rambling about lost time, roads that never ended, nights that stretched too long. I kept my eyes on the road, gripping the wheel tighter with each passing second. When we reached the turnoff for Asheville, he motioned for me to stop. "God bless you, son," he said softly. "I was the one who helped you stay awake." The blood drained from my face. I blinked, and in that split second, he was gone. The seat beside me was empty. The door hadn't opened. No footsteps on the gravel outside. I slammed the truck into park, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The air inside was warm again, my exhaustion from earlier completely gone. I looked in the mirrors. Nothing. I didn't sleep for the rest of the drive. But when I reached my final stop, I whispered, "Thank you." Even now, I don't know who or what he was. But deep down, I know one thing. I wasn't alone that night.